Hello everyone, this is Matt over at wallstreetlivechat.com. As most of you guys know, if you're following our videos, which many people are, our videos have been producing some huge gains, most recently the SPY trades, SPY, and we're still playing it, we're still working it like it should be worked, finding the trade and seeing where we are now. I keep updating those videos midday and nightly, and trying to continue making money off of each trade. Well, I think we are in an interesting position now with Apple, so I'd like to start taking a look at this one and projecting what our potential is. Now, for those of you not familiar with Head and Shoulders, I'm going to really quickly set one up for you so you can do it on your own. Most of you traders are. I'm going to use these fib arcs to basically show you. This one here would be the left shoulder on the Head and Shoulders pattern. Okay. Here's the head for the Head and Shoulders, and the right shoulder. Okay, so this is typically in inverted Head and Shoulders pattern. Okay, you have the regular where the head would be up here, like I demonstrated on the SPY chart on the 15-minute yesterday. So what we're looking at here is a Head and Shoulders pattern. Okay, with no real conviction yet, but I think we're getting close, especially with the conference starting Monday, and any release of new product or anything interesting. So here's your left shoulder, your right shoulder, and your inverted head. Okay? Now, what needs to take place at this point is we need to break the shoulder, the right shoulder, for the upside. Okay? If we're looking for an upside. So what we're doing is going to draw a line going straight across the top of the shoulders. That roughly takes us to the 465 area. Okay? So now, right now, that's the heavy resistance. Anything above 465, that break becomes very, very bullish. Now, what you also need to understand is the bottom, okay, of the shoulders, or the neckline. Okay, so basically it's right here. All right, so that's where we are now. Okay, but I wouldn't use that as a support right now. I would use the lower where we bounced on Friday. Where our last bounce was, is you see here, you have support here, you have support here, you have support at the bottom of this left shoulder. So there's support here, okay, and it's at a point where it's undecided what it's going to do right now. There's no real volume for any direction, but we are now in, a total trade zone, okay, so to speak. So we're sitting in this, we're just sitting in this area right here. All right, and it's gonna do something eventually. Right now, with the events coming up on this next upcoming week, what do you do? Well, I grabbed some calls, okay, and not weeklies. I did late June, just because it gives it a little more time. I'm not going to make any aggressive trades yet. All right. So what happens if we break to the upside? All right. If we break this 465, okay, what's going to take place is we're going to get very aggressive, okay, because that's bullish. We are, we're going to start moving, okay. So we know now that we have a setup for something to follow. Okay, so where do we go after we break this neckline? Okay, if we look up over here at the top, we have this gap on the left-hand side, okay, to get filled. All right. So any major events that take place and we break this, we're going straight to 510. I mean, there's really nothing in the way for this to stop nothing at all. You have a little bit right here with these two candles at 480, but from 441, that's still a massive gain, even if it just stops right there. Okay, and your RSI is sitting at 58, so who knows what's going to take place. Now, if these events take place and we come up and fill this gap, I would expect at this point, when we fill this gap, okay, now we're going to accumulate or stay in this area just for a little while until it makes a decision whether the value is there for Apple this year with new products or whatever the case may be, so we could shoot back up to the upside. Okay, we also up ahead on Apple also on the upside. We also have another gap, okay, way up here at 580. Okay, it's a little one, but it's there. All right, and then we have another gap way up top at the last peak for Apple. Apple's all-time high, and that's up at the 700 area. Now, if you remember when we started in December, we did a big layout on where it was going to go, and from 528, we did predict that gap fill down to 360, 370 area. Okay, and this was the gap fill down here, and we shorted it and played it. It came down a little lower to this gap fill down here. You have one here, and you have one here. Okay, this was the other one, and look what it did. Okay, it filled the gap, and we had a confirmation after we broke here, and that's what we were waiting for. Okay, right in this area. Then we came down and filled the gap. So if you play gaps, if you play Apple, you know, this is what I'm looking at. We called it from up here to ride to the downside. Okay, then I said let's do longs from here, leaps, and we started doing leaps from down in this area, accumulating. Okay, because that was it. The gap's filled. There's nothing left here. Now, Apple's a real company, has a real product. You know, does it need to do a little bit more because of competition? Yeah, I mean, they know they have to bring in new product. Any new product release, and you know, it's going to get exciting. So this is what I'm looking at. I mean, we have an opportunity here to ride up to the 700 area. All right, and I'm showing you what we need. Okay, we need to break the head and shoulders to really get cranking to the upside. Okay, and after we do that, we're going to have a trade zone over on the right hand side. Okay, after this gap is filled, and there's going to be some accumulation because that's a nice move, and then I think eventually we're going to head up and fill the two other upper gaps we have up here. You have that one right there, and you have that one right there, which is 580. Now, how do you want to play it? There's many different ways. If you're buying stock, I think you're fine right here. Keep your stop at the bottom of the neckline. Okay, if it's going to come down again, then it'll probably trade in this zone again. Okay, and then make a decision. It could go lower, could drop down to 90, but keep your stops, manage your position. But I think you have an opportunity at this point to go long, and getting some of these gaps filled will be very lucrative, whether you're doing options or trading the stock. Okay, so I will be monitoring Apple all this week. I will be doing charts on Apple all this week. Any updates will be found on the website, and also put them out on a social network. And if you'd like to join us live in the chat room, stop in. Just go to wallstreetlivechat.com. Right on the top menu bar, you will see a chat room link, and come on in. There's several technical traders in there, and we really look at everything. We manage IPOs, daily news and economic calendars posted in there. It's a very good way to manage the day and the week. So I look forward to making some money on Apple as our next big trade. And we'll see you in the chat room. All right. This is Matt. Peace.